Welcome, welcome to Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you all here in the building. Of course, outfit check. I'm in my Newton Cam look. You know, I want to go with my solid versus my print. So, if you think, what is she wearing? Yes, it was done on purpose. Just trying to make sure that, hey, trying to live outside the box of fashion, but no here, no there. Well, today we're talking about entrepreneur. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you wondering how to start, how to continue your growth? How can I get a mentor? What does it needs to be done? What? Here, I'm so excited. We will be talking to my guest, who's a consultant about business. But before we get into that, you ever wonder how some people sustain themselves to stay in business so long? What is the highs and lows? Well, we have a 70-year-old man who's being asked various questions on how to really stay relevant within entrepreneurial world. Let's take a look at the clip.
Is this your Lamborghini?
It is my Lamborghini.
And what do you do for a living to be able to afford a Lamborghini out in Dallas?
I'm retired.
What did you do? What industry did you pursue a career in?
Supply chain.
Were you a business owner?
I was a business owner.
And how long were you an entrepreneur for?
40 years.
Over those 40 years, what's the greatest lesson about entrepreneurship you learned that you'd pass on to someone about to start their first business?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. How important is it to keep your word in business?
You don't keep your word in business, you have no business.
And what was your secret to sales, right? Selling in a competitive industry like supply chain.
Be honest.
Be honest.
This isn't my only Lamborghini. I have 3.
You have 3. I guess over these 40 years, what was the most amount of money that your business generated?
A lot.
Could you give me a range? 8 in figures?
Yeah.
In that range?
Yeah.
What was the best financial advice that you received from a mentor?
You follow me into this space and I'll tell you. I'll tell you 2 things. The first one is be an expert about what you're talking about. Don't be a fool who listens to internet. Do your research, do your homework, and know more than anybody else knows. And you can build an incredible career on very little money because I did it twice.
Now, what was your secret to scaling, right? Like, how did you take your business from 7 to 8 figures?
Finding a way to manage money. Don't be the bank.
And have you ever been broke before?
Twice.
What was the turning point like for you? How did you escape poverty and how did you break that cycle?
Be tougher than poverty.
One last one for you.
And be hungry.
How old are you now?
70.
And what's one lesson about business you would give to somebody that they won't learn in business school?
Standing out is the most important thing. AI is going to replace commonality. You got to use your brain. You got to be creative. You got to be inventive. You got to find another angle in. Don't do the same thing.
So there you have it, people. You're in the entrepreneurial world. Of course, there's going to be ups and downs. You heard it. If you need to go back and relook at the clip, do so for. Keep in mind, in order to stay in this field, you're going to have the ups and downs, but keep staying innovative. Well, as a new entrepreneur, of course, we're always looking at ourselves and we just saying our product. Well, sometimes we may have to shift. Well, this speaker here shows us how some entrepreneurs only look at the product. Check this clip out.
First-time entrepreneurs focus on product. So when they pitch their business, they'll tell you all about the product, the thing, how it works. They get really obsessed with the architecture of the product. Anytime you're focusing on product differentiation, I can tell you're a first-time entrepreneur because you genuinely believe the customers will buy you because the product is superior. But there's a huge focus on product. So what you do when business doesn't go well is rather than fix the business, what do you fix? The product.
We kick it like no one else.
Here, yes. Sometimes it's not about a product, it's about the whole business. So sometimes, of course, you need a team, and the team needs to help you evaluate. Well, I'm so excited to have my guest ReLita in the building. Yes. Hey, ReLita, how are you? So glad to have you. We'll be talking about consulting, how to sustain your business, what are the ups and downs, and so much more. Please make sure that you put your comment in. I know that she's more than welcome to answer, if any, and we look forward to hearing what she has to say. So after these messages, we're going to listen to my guest, ReLita, as we sustaining our own business. We all need it. So see you soon.
Our mission focuses on showcasing local and global talent of all ages on and off the field. We will strive to inspire, educate, and bridge the divides through our media collaboration. Our goal is to give student athletes and coaches the platform to let their talents be seen and a platform for the community to let their voices be heard. This is the Union Media Group.
Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you all in the building. So I have my guest Relita as we talking about sustaining your business. Hey, Relita, how are you?
I'm good, Miss Joy. How are you?
Good. So before we start, can you tell people a little bit about yourself and a little bit of what you do?
Absolutely. So again, my name is ReLita Clark, and I'm the owner of Twin Pearls Consulting Agency, where we help entrepreneurs legitimize their business on a state and federal level. So simply put, we assist you in solidifying the solid foundation for your business, whether it's an LLC filing, corporation, nonprofit. We ensure that you receive the necessary filing documents in order for your business to grow and scale. The unique component about our business is that not only do we assist you with the filing, but we provide you with education behind why you need certain items set up in your operations behind your business. We're not going to tell you what you need to do. We will offer suggestions and recommendations, and you, the business owner, have the right to make that decision because you're going to have to make decisions throughout your journey of entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Yes. So good to hear. Such a mouthful. And I pray we get at least a tidbit of everything. So what made you want to get into help entrepreneur learn the route of building their business?
So my journey started when I was like 5 or 6. So my dad and granddad were serial entrepreneurs. My granddad started with a convenience store in Falls Church, Virginia, which is still standing but owned by another business. And so seeing him go to work for himself every day, and we would go, and my twin sister and I, hence the word Twin Pearls, we would go into the convenience store every day, and he would have us help customers, ring people up. But a majority of the time, we were eating candy. But we really I enjoyed that aspect of seeing a person working for themselves. And then later on, my father, he was a serial entrepreneur. He had businesses ranging from a men's warehouse shop all the way to a collision repair shop to a gas station, and ultimately having I think the last one that he did was taking over the additional convenience store, not the one my grandfather had though.
Wow, such a great background. So now what has been like the highs and low in helping individual to sustain their business?
Highs and lows. That's a great question, Miss Joy. So as far as the lows, a lot of people know that they want to start a business. They just don't know where to start. And they go out here and they go to different companies that are my competitors. So I will not give them credit at this moment in time. But they go to different people and different organizations, and they're told what they need, but not provided with the understanding of why they need to have it, how the business needs to operate in that entity, or even why you need to have certain systems and procedures and policies put in place. The highs are actually seeing the individuals take their business, take the information that they learn, and grow in scale. I had a client who just circled back to me probably 2 weeks ago now, and she's like, Relita, I thank you so much for helping me through this process, because I now have a better understanding when somebody asks me for a documentation or if somebody brings something forth to me. I have the know-how and I have the knowledge of what I need to ask in order for me to gain clarity in that particular situation.
Wow. So what is the one thing that people lack when they're starting their business? Like your overall, if you had to just think about a mental data, what is one thing that people lack when they start in their business when they're coming to Twin Pearls?
Documentation, hands down.
Mm.
A lot of people assume because they have a federal identification number or an EIN that they have a business. They don't know that they have to register the business with the state. They don't know that there are certain compliance components that they have to follow up with annually. So they have a business and the annual filing will come up and they'll say, well, I got a notice in the mail or via email and says that my business is inactive. Well, what does that mean? And
Yeah.
so documentation is extremely important. I say documentation beats conversation any day, because if you've got your ducks in a row and you have the right documentation in place, there's nothing that anybody can say to you that does not legitimize your business.
Wow. Now, we know that we live in such a digital world, right? And it's hard to even keep up with the documents. Some people are not organized. They're not detailed enough to say, here, I've been driving this X amount of miles, or I have this receipt. So is there any tool that you suggest your clients in order to file their documents, or what is needed so that they can have proof if needed for the IRA? Yeah, IRA. Yeah, tax people.
EIN, IRS for tax people.
IRS. I knew I was loud and wrong, but okay, yes, IRS. So what type of system do you show them or share with them, that what do they need in order to keep like a digital file, so when things do come up, they're not scrambling looking for their documents, or if they need to put something in that document folder?
Absolutely. So part of what we do in Twin Pearls Consulting is that we do send you everything digitally, but we also print out a folder for you and we send it to you in the mail so that you have your documents on hand as well. The file that we send to you is a shared document that you have access to. And if you want us to continue to function and operate as a business manager, we continue to share that folder with you. But everything you get in print and everything you get digitally as well. When it comes to tax time, I actually have a digital product that is out, and it is an income tracker, and it's on our website at www.twinpearlsconsulting.com. And it allows you to track your money coming in and the expenses that you've paid out. So when it comes to tax time, you're literally going to turn this document over to your tax preparer, and they'll have all of the information that they need in order to file your taxes.
Mm. So now, with all that information that's being spilled out, what is something that you see where they have all this documentation and they still don't follow through? People, they have their business. What is something that they don't follow through on? They just, within a time span when you're consulting them or talking to them or working with them, like, what is certain things that people just don't follow through on? Because people look at other people and think businesses, oh yeah, I could do that. That's easy. I want to work for myself, not knowing that that's just the surface. It's go
Yeah.
to a part. We had to go deep where the sun don't even touch the water. There's
Yeah.
quite a few things that they have. It's quite a few things that, as a consultant, I know your clients don't even have or don't even try to bring. What are some of those documents that they do not bring up majority of the time?
Their annual filing. A
Mm.
lot of people don't know that this thing exists and that it's something that they need to do annually in order to keep their business active. So a major component that we include in our business package or our business startup package is business coaching. That
Mhm.
allows them to receive additional education outside of what we've done from the consulting standpoint while setting up their foundation, but providing them with one-on-one time with myself in order for them to ask any questions that they may have. Anybody that's ever been a client of mine, I send out reminder emails in the beginning of the year, every year in January, to say, hey, I need you to remember that come April 15th, which is also the
Oh.
tax deadline, that your annual
Mhm.
filing is due. If you need my assistance in any way, I'll be more than happy to help you out. But it's a reminder, even if they're not continuing with me from a client perspective, or if their package has already concluded, I still send that
Mhm.
email out because people completely forget about that. And then they're trying to figure out, well, I can't get a business license because it says that I'm inactive, or
Mm.
the other thing is that my business has been forfeited and I don't know how to get it back. So now you have to get the business reinstated. And that's a whole process that you do not want to go through.
Yeah. Now, just how can a business be forfeited?
A business can be forfeited by not filing your annual report for 2 consecutive years. You become
Mm.
inactive if you don't file for 1 year. So let's say you started a business in 2022, 2023, you completely forgot about your annual filing. I send you a reminder. We can definitely get that done within that time period, and your business becomes active again for the state. If your business started in 2022, but you haven't filed your annual report for 2023 nor 2024, your business is now forfeited. But the thing is, people, you got to read your emails. They send all of this to you via email to tell you your business is about to be forfeited or that it's inactive. A lot of people don't go back and check the emails that come from their particular state in which they're registered for. And that's how they get caught up in this whirlwind of having to go back and fix things.
Wow, wow. Now, what is the length of how, if someone wants to consult with Twin Pearls Consulting, what is your time frame with a new person or even with their current person? What is the length that if somebody wants to reach out and say, hey, we'll like to work with, or if there is a length? I'm not for sure, but of course, you'll break it down.
Yes. Absolutely. So any net new business that wants to start with Twin Pearls Consulting, the length of time is during the duration of your registration completion, meaning that we receive your articles of organization, everything within the package has been concluded. And there's about 12 to 15 things that you get in our business startup package. Everything from your federal identification number to your registration with your state, an operating agreement to start your business bank account, the business coaching. There's a ton of things that we provide to you so that you are comfortable with being a business owner and being inside of entrepreneurship. Generally, that time frame will it's really dependent upon the state in which you're registering for. So I file business entities nationwide. So everything from East Coast to West Coast and everything in between. So each state has a different regulation and a different time period that it's going to take for that application to be submitted, approved, and the articles of organization to come back. For businesses that are existing, and for me, anything that is over 2 to 3 years is an existing business, we set a timeline to achieve the strategic goals that we're looking at. So with an existing business, they're not necessarily so worried about the documentation or the foundation of their organization. They're now looking for strategy. They're looking at how they can actually grow the business, how they can scale the business. What does that plan of action look like? And that generally will last anywhere from 3 to 4 months, depending upon the complexity of the goals.
Oh, wow. That's a mouthful right there, people. So, right on these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest, ReLita. And she kind of hinted a little, but we would like to know what is behind the name Twin Pearls? And we're going to talk some more about finance, of course, how to start your business. So, after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest, ReLita. Latest news, today's news, current news, gossip news, you name it. I am your host with Coffee with Joy as I share any up-to-date news that's taking place around the world. But if you would like to check it out, please make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Coffee with Joy, where I share the latest topic. I am your host with Coffee with Joy with today's topic. Welcome back. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. And if you'd like to patronize towards the end of our show, we surely will have up our QR code information. So we'll love for you to patronize. So now, ReLita, can you give us a little bit behind how did Twin Pearls come about? Yes, how did Twin Pearls come about? I think you kind of answered, even though I probably know, but just to give us a little background on Twin Pearls.
So I was looking for a very different name. When it comes to naming your business, you got to think high level. You really don't want to put the industry in the name in and of itself, because that sometimes will put you in a box. So Twin Pearls, the registered name for my business is Twin Pearls Production Company, LLC, but I do business as Twin Pearls Consulting. So that's just telling the public that I go by another name. But I am an identical twin. I am 6 minutes older than her. And I like to share that because she's like, I'm a half an inch taller. It doesn't matter. I came out first, right? So I'm an identical twin. Her name is Renita. My name is ReLita. And so I hold my sister very close to my heart. She is my best friend. We have done everything together, and she's just my everything. Now, the pearls came in because I have the world's greatest great grandma in the world. Her name is Pearl. She actually turns 101 years old on June 18th of this year. And I was raised by her. I know, right? Woohoo! That's what I told her the other day.
Right.
I was raised by her for a portion of my life as my mom was, getting her things together and ensuring that she had everything she needed for us. So I valued that time with her. She literally she taught me everything that I know. Like I love math because of my nanny or because of my great grandma.
Yeah.
I call her nanny.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to incorporate her in my legacy because she's my legacy, right? And so Twin
Wow.
Pearls came up. At first, it was I was spelling it with the S, and I was like, I don't like the way that looks. That just doesn't look like
Yeah.
me. So the Lord told me change it to a Z. It
See?
still says pearls. So that's
Right.
how the name actually came up.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yes. It's always great to hear a little backstory of how businesses, I know you hear it all the time, how they get their company started, why the name, because your name is your brand and that carries
Yes.
you through until as long as you have your business or until, as long as you're growing because you're the face, is your name, is no longer Relita, is Twin Pearls Consulting.
Yep.
So it's always great just to hear that background information. So now, as you're working with individuals, what is the joy that you get out of individuals who like wow get this eureka moment because there's so much in your business I know you go through and you're like okay but what is the number one joy that you find that you go through when you're consulting these businesses throughout your journey?
My I believe that I was put on earth to help other people be successful, and it's not for my glory, it's for God's glory. And
Hmm.
I put him in everything that I do inside of my business. And I really believe that he put me on earth to just help other people. I believe I have a teaching
Right.
anointing, and just want to help other people to grow, to not be in the same position where they may have started last year or 6 months ago or even 3 months ago. And so
Right.
I've always honed in on that for myself,
Hmm.
and knowing that I'm happy when I help other people.
Right.
I get an extreme joy out of helping other people, and it's great to see
Mhm.
where people start and where they finish and where they see themselves going from a goal perspective. So helping other
Right.
people is my jam. I love it.
Oh, it's my jam. Yes, my jam. That's
Yes.
amazing. Because people come thinking they have it all, right? Or they just have little to nothing just to see that you erect something out of nothing into building, allowing like, oh wow, okay. And they get to see the light. It's like, because you need to ask. And I guess, when coming to you, you surely give that development and just answering what's needed. Because again, entrepreneur on the outside look easy. But when you step
Yeah.
into the doors of entrepreneur world, you're like, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Now, have you thought about doing like seminars, helping like the youth, because nowadays, especially with social media, with so many people being content creators, they consider themselves being entrepreneur, even though they're
Mhm.
not, but they consider themselves doing that. Have you thought about or have you spoken to the youth and really trying to explain, how to get in without making the mistakes that many people start without knowing, not having that background information?
Absolutely. So I also have a nonprofit called Rare Gems, and it's
Hmm.
geared towards educating young women ages 12 to 21 on entrepreneurship, business, and just life. And
Right.
that'll actually be launching at the end of 2024, where I'll be going
Okay.
out to different locations to assist other nonprofits to assist young girls with understanding the world of entrepreneurship. A lot of young girls have come to me and say, I want to be a hairstylist. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so providing them with that education before they get into the nitty gritty of things, I think is extremely
Mhm.
important. The other
Yeah.
component that we have coming out from Twin Pros Consulting is that we are going to do a youth boot camp, a youth entrepreneurial boot camp. And so that's
Hmm.
going to be coming out in Q4 of this year, where
Yes.
young people, whether they've already started a business or if they're looking to get into entrepreneurship, will receive a 4 module curriculum that will teach them
Hmm.
the basic of entity structure, how to
Hmm.
manage money, how to sustain the organization, and how to scale and grow your organization.
Oh wow. Wow. And I only bring that up because it's really powerful that to see, yes, it's very powerful to see young people take, life by the bullhorn, but they taking it, but sometimes they get kicked off and not having that mentorship or not having that one-on-one hand knowledge. Of course, we could go on the internet, but when you actually have someone guiding you and showing you the ropes and really helping you, it really puts things in perspective. Because again, like I know, back in the days when you used to do makeup, you used to look like a clown. Now these young ladies look like they top tier,
They're doing
but now
everything.
this is everything, right? And the beauty industry has really taken this launch where people can do their, they come up with their own. Now, granted, I know we're dealing with the chemistry behind it. Some people just find a product. I had to learn all of this, right? As some people find in their name and they go to Amazon to get the distribution, all of that. But anyway, it's now that young people can actually get items and really sell it for themselves, but not knowing that, hey, I need to trademark this, I need to copyright this, I need to make sure that I own this before someone else see it with bigger bucks and take it and run on, because you don't have the legal side taken care of it. So I think that's what a lot of people, let me just say, they are missing that strong piece of not having the paperwork, and it takes time, right? And
It
when you
does.
have you ever coached anyone, whether young or older, who's in business where they've come so far to realize, like, wow, the name was taken, the paperwork wasn't there. It's like they life crumble right before them. How have you helped them, or what is a turnaround, or how did you get them out of it? Or if it was a success story, or this is just where chemo is just not working, you know?
um, I have had encountered quite a few clients like that, and I have to let them
Mhm.
know that nothing is etched in stone when it comes to entrepreneurship. You can shift, you can modify, you can take something out one day, add it back in 30 days later, and it's just that having them to understand that everything is fixable.
Yeah.
Everything has the ability to be adjusted. It's just the amount of time that it takes to do it, the amount of money that it takes to do it,
Yeah.
and that you're ultimately going to be doing things over that you thought you did right the first time. But I
Yeah.
let everybody know that there's always, if it's something that has been registered, something that has gone awry, we can always fix that. And I'm
Yeah.
actually glad that you mentioned the legal aspect of it, because a
Mhm.
lot of people, especially when we're in the beauty industry and just in services and products in general, a lot of people
Uh-huh.
forget to have contracts in place. You have to
Yeah.
have contracts in place, because
Yeah.
contracts are a legal binding document that saves your business and helps you
Yeah.
from getting sued, because you have
Yeah.
all of those clauses and everything that's necessary inside of your contract that's going to help you sustain the business. If somebody comes back and tries to say, hey, I want a refund, and inside of your contract it clearly states that you have a no refund policy, you just refer them back to the documentation, which is why I say documentation beats conversation any day of the week. And it's just
Mm.
important that people keep in mind those things, whether it's a product or a service. You need to have a contract in place to cover your tail, as my nanny would say.
Well, yeah, I remember, and of course, just going a little far fetched, I guess. Listen to Judge Judy. She said, if it ain't black and white, there's no conversation. So ever
At
since
all.
then, it's like that, literally like a bell in the back of my head, black and white. Make sure it's black and white. Even if I'm signing, it's black and white, right? Because you want to make sure
Absolutely.
that you truly have that contract. So, of course, Lita, we could talk about this all day. You provided so many great information, and it's like, wow, even I'm sitting here just learning, right? But of course, I appreciate your time. Now, I know that it's not hard, right? Because you got to take the good with the bad, and especially with your personal life. How do you keep going? What is that affirmation or a quote that keeps Twin Pearls Consulting slash Relita in business and personal life going?
My quote is, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. My mother
Yes.
always told us that as kids. If you prepare, it is less likely for you to fail. However, if you don't, you can ultimately see failure in your future. And the
Yeah.
fact that I am a planner, a preparer, was because of my mom. She always would
Yeah.
tell us the night before when we're getting dressed or getting ready for school the next day, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Do you have all your
Yeah.
stuff? Do you have all of your books? Do you have everything you need for school? And that is something that just constantly stuck with me. So that's my
Mm.
motto that I live by. I would say, as an entrepreneur, it is extremely important that you take time for yourself, because we get
Yeah.
so wrapped up in the day to day operations of making sure the
Mhm.
business is doing what it's supposed to do, that we often forget about ourselves and our self care. And that can
Yeah.
drive you up a mental wall. And the next thing you know, you're ready to quit this whole entrepreneurial thing and go back to getting a 9 to 5, or to say, hey, I'm not going to do this and I'm going to stick with the 9 to 5, because a lot of entrepreneurs are doing both. And so it's extremely important that you take that time, whether it is going to get your nails done, going to get a pedicure, going to the spa, or just not looking at emails for a day. That is fine. The business is not going to set on fire because you did not answer an email that day. Just remember to put your out of office on inside of your email, though, because you still want to remain in communication with your clients. Communication is important and it's key, but just take that time for yourself, so that you have the opportunity to refuel yourself so that you can keep going.
You heard it, people, from the consultant. You heard it. Take time for yourself, because without you in the equation, there won't be nothing to solve. So, Relita, thank you so much for being a guest on Coffee with Joy. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy on all social media. If you'd like to patronize our company, please do so here with the Q codes. And if you would like to be a guest on the Coffee with Joy, please make sure that you go to our email, which is thecoffeewithjoyshow@gmail.com. As you all know, we look forward to seeing you weekly, daily, of course, every day, of course. As always, if it's a morning, noon, or night, it is Coffee with Joy. Until then, live life on purpose and see you all soon.